Minis
2024 All Out.
Join us for one of the best races of the season with 35 classes to choose from. But wait, there's more. OPMC is bringing the big guns out with a $2,500 purse for small bike classes. The Easter Bunny is also hopping by. He's laid over 1,000 eggs to hunt Sunday morning. Who knows what else is gonna happen? All information for Spring Minis at OPMC is on Facebook and the World Wide Web. Hop on over to OPMC and race with us.
Pacific Northwest Motocross, are you ready for the 30 Plus 2 podcast with Gravy and Gate Drop? Let's go!
All right, well, it's another Monday night for the 30 Plus 2 podcast. We have 5 viewers right now, probably because everyone's out enjoying this daylight.
Nobody's even going to be watching tonight. They're going to be
playing. We're already irrelevant now, which is a total bummer. I'm just kidding. How's it going, Grayson?
No, not too bad. I'm enjoying that sunshine as well. A little bit more daylight out there. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, I didn't even have to put on any stage lightings in my cheap office here. I just opened the blinds and God did the rest for us. So
yeah, no, it's been a great couple days, especially this last weekend. It was so nice.
Yeah, and I had a little bit of an itch yesterday to ride my dirt bike, even though I was saying no, I don't have an itch at all. But I don't know. I'm going to OPMC this weekend, as you can tell from my intro. Mm-hmm. Our Spring Minis all out. Make sure to check out OPMC for all info and whatnot. Tons of racing. You'll have to get up there at some point because that is a fun track that's been around for quite a while. Any adventuring you've done this past weekend?
Made my way down to Albany actually on Sunday for round 2 of their summer series. I finally decided to make the trek out. Weather was perfect. Couldn't ask for much better. Pretty good turnout, and it was a pretty good day of racing for the most part. I'm stoked to be able to get started in March, not April or May. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was actually in a t-shirt for once outside, so I think the weather's gonna stay like that.
I got a little burnt, so that's a good showing for the first race of the year. I got to remember sunscreen now.
Well, I'm used to looking like Larry the Lobster anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, tonight's guest, we have Claire Brown on, wife of the legendary Carson Brown.
Nice.
But, I mean, she's, I would say, arguably cooler than Carson because she does a whole bunch of riding and racing and has this fantastic whole lifestyle of flying planes, doing all types of moto and whatnot. So we got tons of questions to ask her. And she just did the Norks race on Saturday, which looked pretty dusty at Horn. And then I saw her and Carson were at Moto Pacific with Sean Wilson and training with them. So tons of cool topics and whatnot coming up at 6:45 with Claire. And should be a fun night. We'll get into Supercross, even though I think our journey of debates and topics is starting to really fade away for at least the 450 class.
I think so. Yeah. I think maybe after we get to Seattle, we might have something to talk about again for, at least the 250 class. I feel the East 250 class has been, you're seeing what's going to happen for the most part every weekend. And there's not much left to talk about after this one, I feel.
Was there, with the third main with Deegan, which we'll jump into that stuff more in the tail end, mm-hmm. Did you think he was going to fight the tough block? Like, he kind of fought Hawmaker. Like, was he going to throw the tough block and rage and go over to the tough blocks pit and whatnot and be like, Parts Unlimited, you suck.
Yep. He's going to wait for him at the Dirt Works truck that night.
I'll catch you outside. I'll slice you up with a knife.
Yeah, no. He seemed a little. I don't even know what the word is right now. He was
Chilled
taken
out.
back. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he was taken back, especially the entire. Like you could tell his energy when he was getting interviewed was a little bit different this weekend.
Yeah, it kind of looks like either there was a team meeting, a family meeting, or something saying, "All right, we got a little bit into the weeds. Let's refocus and get back into it."
That's what I felt too. Yeah, there was some conversation that happened after last week.
But yeah, Washougal was on Saturday. I'll show you this photo here. If it shows up. Boom.
Ooh.
You want to know who that is?
That Austin looks like Austin Black to me.
It is possibly Austin Black. Wonder if I can change stuff. Nope. We're just gonna move screens around. But yeah, if you can't throw whips, take photos of people who can.
Yep. Exactly. That's where I'm at now. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, they were. It's always funny if you notice. When's the last time you've been to Washougal? They if you every time you go up to the road jump and you whip out a camera, it's like they know.
Yep.
It's time to get saucy up there.
And that's everybody. Even when you go up on national days and like those guys can peek on they got a camera during practice or something. I've gotten a few guys that throw it pretty nasty. It's a necessity. If you know how to do it, then do it.
I don't know how they do it. Sorry, I'm
I don't either.
Probably going through the audio.
Not too much. But no, who knows? Like that stuff is so gnarly to me. Like I can't even imagine what it's like to throw it that sideways and upside down.
Well, and even with the road jump on the backside of that landing, there's not much of a runoff. Like it's a corner, like right after that. So like Ryder Fisher was throwing some fat whips. Austin Black was. Terlecki did a fender slap for me.
Nice.
I just don't understand. How do you bring it back that quick, rail the rut, and then hop back down the hill going the other direction? I will never know in my skills of dirt bike riding.
I struggle even making the turn, and I just land on the top. I don't even go all the way over. Like it's a tough one. That's a hard corner to get around.
I've only done the road jump a handful of times because I don't think it was around. I have to double check my sources when it even was put in. But yeah, I've only done that section a handful of times since I don't actually ride that much anymore besides Albany.
Yep.
I might do OPMC this weekend. We'll see.
I do the dream race every year. At least I try to. And I've done the last 4 out of 5. So I've been able to hit it a few times. The first time it's scary. I remember just being like, just hold on a little bit longer and see what happens. And I almost died, but it's worth it. Now I can do it every time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm getting into pit bike riding and whatnot, and maybe I can work out some kind of deals with BBR and whatnot to get a gate drop souped up. We got the Carson Brown bend on the 110, and then we got the tall seat, but we're going to need some suspension because 200 plus pound guy on a little bike, you're already
you're using all of it.
You're already you're past your sag limit and everything else. But yeah. Catch anything at Albany that caught your interest yesterday? I know pair DNFs for my little bud Jacob Ingham was not ideal, unfortunate there, but he held his head high and he's moving on to the 65 class now. I think we all kind of determined that the 50 does not want to go any longer, and we're all going to agree that let's just move to the 65s. But anything catch your attention there? Any good battles? Anything like that?
Super mini class was pretty good. Parker on the 127 Husky. He got 4 hole shots, 4 wins this weekend. Just pretty much untouchable. Rode really well. My favorite thing of the day was kind of funny. It was Terlecki's first moto, and he decided he was going to line up on the furthest gate he possibly could from the corner.
I saw that.
He was digging in the dirt because I'm pretty sure nobody's touched that gate in 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So there was a layer of grass and dirt on there that he was picking out. So it was entertaining to watch. Though he did get a good start. I think he was 2nd or 3rd, which is pretty good. But ask his dad, he probably wasn't too happy with that choice.
He angled himself too, there. And I walked by and I'm all I wonder if Evan's gonna get the start. And he just started clicking gears and making tears for everyone else. And
for being on a 250, being on a 250, we got up against a couple 450s as well in the pro class.
Well,
he kept up.
And then when Albany uses that banking, when they do the right turn, like you just use that wall there, and you can wall ride it pretty much into the quote unquote first turn. So that was something that was, pretty useful. I know the 50 class had quite the pile up in turn 1 there.
Yeah, those ruts will get you.
Dude, that 50 practice was rough for a couple of our riders.
Yep, no, it was. Parents were running everywhere. It was they got their steps in this weekend.
I was not classic Christoph. I was just spectating, like, oh, poor little Jimmy. And I'm like, I don't feel like going and picking him up. So probably
it was pretty muddy. It was slippery out there. I wouldn't have wanted to go out there either.
I probably got some unfollows, but whatever. Now that Claire's joined us, she's just doing audio, so the mystery will just be a forever mystery. There was one kid before I'll jump Claire in here. The sand section at Washougal, you do the wall after the triple. Well, the kid on the 110 and the slow little bike practice, I see the yellow flag out waving forever. And I'm like, what is going on the back side of the single? So I casually walk up there, and this kid has his Yamaha TCR 110 completely submerged.
Oh no.
In the sand, and he's got his hands out, and he's shoveling the dirt out of the back of the bike, trying to get it out. We're talking this deep, and I'm just like,
yeah,
dude, it's too early for me to jump in the dirt and mud, and I don't want to be muddy. So again,
you haven't had your caffeine for the day yet. No.
Nope, I was not vibing on a practice day. I'm like, nah, this will be practice for you to learn better lines. So sorry, little dude.
Yep, you're not losing positions today.
He eventually got it all taken out, but yeah, that was that's kind of it for this weekend. And then like I said, OPMC this coming weekend. I know Riley Ranch ran a practice yesterday, and then Washougal had their own. Anything else that you have going on for this coming weekend for yourself?
Nothing quite yet. I think this might be a quiet stay-at-home weekend for me again. That looks like the rain might be coming back.
Don't say
We'll see.
that.
We'll see. I'm hoping not. But
I'm so over rain.
If it holds out, we might make our way somewhere. Who knows?
All right. Well, it's 6:45, and it's time to get Claire Brown on here. She just came from Moto Pacific and Norks Racing. All right, Claire, you're the mystery for us, so we're never going to be able to see you, I guess. But you have quite a social media following. How was your weekend racing Norks and then Moto Pacific yesterday?
Dude, I'm still dusted out from Norks. That that round was gnarly. I've only done a few Norks, and I've always done the Riverdale one. I did the Moto West one a few years back, but this was a whole different ball game. I mean, you couldn't see 5 feet in front of you. There was kids flying everywhere, sand in every crevice. It was so fun though. I mean, I've only been riding a few years myself, and sand has always been something that intimidates me. And I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. So it went great. I got 5th in the women's C. Lots of girls out there. I always love to see that. Saw lots of people I knew. Everyone was just out there having a great time. Overall, it was a great event. The Norks team puts on a really cool series. They work really hard out there. And then Sean Wilson from Wilson MX Schools, he invited me and Carson out to go test out the track at Moto Pacific, and we love that track. I mean, it's 15 minutes from the house. It was like a June day. It was like summer. And just got a chance to hop back on my 250 and spin some laps. So that's pretty much the perfect weekend. How about you? How was Washougal and Albany?
It was pretty good. Washougal, I was actually anticipating more people to ride, but it was kind of just a fairly decent crowd. Nothing too big, nothing too crazy. I think just with the variety of stuff going on, like Norks and Tudor Motorsports Park and Albany and everything else going on, it really spread the riding pool out of people. So it wasn't too bad at Washougal. And then Grace and I just had as we were talking a little bit earlier there, we both did Albany race yesterday, and the crowd was fairly decent for a classic summer series race. So
yeah,
nothing
not bad
too
at all.
big, but I think the majority of the people followed you and Carson over to Norks for Horn Rapids.
Yeah, it was packed, but we love to see it. I mean, we want the sport to grow, and it's cool seeing all these new people out there. I was all nervous on the line because I still get nervous on starts, and I see like 5 rows in front of me, open C. There was a dude on a 110, and I thought, okay, I'm not nervous anymore. That guy's out here on a 110 doing short course. So
it wasn't your husband, was it?
No. But you never know. We might see him on something like that at a Norks here soon.
So what do you prefer, doing the Norks race with the dusty horn type of feeling, or let's take it back to your first time at Woodland with extra mud with a side of mud?
I used to be one of those riders. I kind of taught myself how to ride. I'll just start off with that. A few years back, and I was a fair weather rider, but Carson has taught me to love to suffer, and I suffered both of those, and I don't know. I love it all, and I don't know. The trickier, the better. And I might crash, I might go down, I might take some dirt samples, but I don't know. I think it's what makes you a better rider, and it's just fun. It's just an experience,
Yeah. So how did you get in? I know, like, obviously you're with Carson Brown now, but how did you get into like your moto and everything? You said you've been in it for just a few years. Like, what found yourself on 2 wheels, just like many other girls out there that ride and race?
Yeah. So it's interesting. So many people I know and are friends within the sport, their families are into it. It's almost generational, and that's really, really cool to see. I definitely was the opposite. I grew up, I did team sports like soccer and whatnot, but I literally didn't even know what a dirt bike was. Like, no one I knew was into it. I'd never even seen one, even though I lived right by Washougal. I don't know how I just never saw one, but my dad's actually an airline pilot, so I went to school up at Central Washington to be an airline pilot, and actually I got all my ratings except for the airline pilot, the ATP transport rating. And I was flight training, and I met this guy, an ex-boyfriend, and he was into it, and he kind of got me in. He said, let's get you on a bike, and I swear it was an XR100, and I was actually at Horn. It was the first time I ever rode, and I was in the parking lot on that gravel, and I didn't know what I was doing at all. And I grabbed a handful of gas, slid out, just destroyed myself. And I stood up and I thought, oh my gosh, I've been missing this my entire life. And I don't know. I mean, he kind of got more into the flying side of it. My ex did. So I bought myself a truck. I bought a step ramp, and I just went to the tracks and I taught myself how to ride. The MX Factory, YouTube videos really helped. And I would just ask random people at the track, hey, how do you hit this jump? And I met tons of cool people. I mean, it's a great community, and everyone's just so willing to help, and it's just a big family, and then fast forward literally like 1 year into really riding, I broke my back at Washougal Motocross.
Oh, jeez.
I was on my YZ125, and my parents weren't stoked that I was riding, and so this didn't help. And everyone I knew, all my friends, everybody told me to stop riding, that I'm done. And I thought to myself, no, absolutely not. I won't let this stop me. I love it too much. It's a part of me now. And so I was at the track at Riverdale in my back brace, hobbling around, and I saw Carson out there, and I kind of knew who he was from, everyone knows who Carson is.
Yeah.
I kind of just, I was like, oh, dude, that's Carson Brown. That's always what I And I had my mom's camera, and I was just taking pictures of people for the day, just because I wanted to be out at the track. And I took a picture of him, and it wasn't even that good of a picture. I'm not a professional photographer. I'm no gate drop pro. But
I'm not a pro either.
I posted it on my Instagram, and I tagged him in it, and I was like, oh, celeb sighting. And then Carson got in my DMs, and he's like, hey, what's up? And so I mean, he kind of got me back into riding. He had to retrain me. I'd learned some bad habits just because I taught myself how to ride. And I didn't even touch the rear brake probably for the first 3 years of riding. Oh. And once I did, I was like, oh, it's so much easier to ride now. So yeah, I that's kind of how I got into it, and I don't think I'll ever stop. It's an amazing sport. There's nothing like it.
I mean, I still barely so the way I was born, my feet stick out like this. Mm-hmm. The back brake is impossible for me. So we front brake tuck all the time, just like Chase Sexton. So I mean, you already got an upper hand on me when it comes to back brake and whatnot. Grayson, feel free to jump in all the time. You see that cool thing if Claire will like beat me with a stick later, guys. Put a photo on top of her right screen there. I'm all like, hey, I'm a photo guru. I know what I can do.
But yeah.
Jump in whenever you want.
Yeah, no, is there I have a quick one. Is there any advice like that you would give like a young girl trying to get into moto or just now getting into it that you wish you would have known like before you started? Like oh crap, like this really helps me like feel better about this or whatever it may be.
Honestly, yeah, I would say it's really easy. Like, and I know a lot of girls that are just kind of getting into it, or they're trail only, and they're like, oh, I'd never go on a track. I'd never hit a jump. It's like, I mean, just don't let your fears just consume you. I think as a girl, we tend to overthink. Like, I find myself overthinking, and when that happens, I'm like, just stop. Just, you can do it. Just do it. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, when you go into it with that mindset of you have the skills, you can do it. Then it works out. And I would say as well, don't pay attention to other people. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Just go out there and have fun, and the skills will follow. If you're out there having a blast, you're gonna just get better naturally. And it doesn't matter if you're in the coolest gear or on, a 250. Like I started off on a TTR 230 in like mismatched gear, like I don't know what I was doing.
Sounds like one of our friends, Stephanie Miller. She did the same thing.
Yeah, it's just a process, and ask for advice, and just don't be intimidated. I would say would be my best.
Sure. Nice. That's great. That's really good to hear. I'm sure a lot of people would love to hear that. Like confidence and anxiousness really takes over nowadays when you're getting into something.
Yeah.
Well, and what's so cool is like there's such a resurgence right now, especially in the Northwest with like all you lady riders. Like you have Rusty Gates, you have yourself. I mean, Avery Berry is a big hitter. She's done, MXGP in Canada and whatnot. And then like you have like little girls such as McCoy out there, Racely, that like looks up to you, and Carson is like always getting after it at Tootle. And I know she gets butterflies every time she sees both you and Carson out at Tootle just shredding.
Oh, that's sweet.
I have a couple things here. If you were to pick like a favorite track locally, like which track would you be picking? I know, tough questions here.
Oh gosh. I mean, Royce and the whole crew at Moto Pacific do an amazing job. I love the dirt out there. Grays is fun too. I mean, I know we all missed that track. That track was epic. I mean, the ruts, the dirt, you can't beat that. But honestly, I really like Albany. It's not close at all to me, especially now. I live more up north, but Albany is just, there's something special about it to me.
That's the only track. Well, at least I know how to go somewhat fast. Grayson, are you fast there or what?
No,
are you?
Okay, I've been riding there forever, but I've never learned it. That it's always been a struggle for me.
Jumps are a little peakier right now, so fair warning. Next time you and Carson come down, I'm sure Carson won't mind it, but you might get caught in your other profession here of flying airplanes off some of these jumps. How'd you get into the airplane stuff? I know you kind of touched on it like a little bit here and there. Is it just basically just off of like family relations and whatnot?
Yeah, I would say, I was above average in high school grade wise. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, as most teenagers do. And so I went to University of Portland for a few years. I did not like it at all. It was not my scene. And so my dad said, hey, if you get your private pilot's license, which is kind of your initial license, then we'll let you transfer to Central, and they have a great aviation program. So I went and did that, and I was really good at it. And I was like, oh, this is probably the first thing in my life that I've been really good at. So I was able to get my license, and I transferred over to Central, and it was kind of like motocross, where there's way more guys into it.
Yeah.
And so I've always been someone that's had more guy friends. So I kind of saw it as like a competition, because all of us, like I had this group of like 10 guys, and all of us would make it into a competition of who could get the next license the fastest, who had the most hours, who failed the most tests, or least tests, I guess. And so I went through, I got all my licenses. I got my private, my instrument rating, which is where you can fly through clouds legally. Commercial, which is where you're allowed to fly for hire. Then I got my multi-engine, which speaks for itself. And then I got my certified flight instructor's license. And then I got the secondary flight instructor's license, which allows you to teach people how to fly through clouds. And then I started flying jets. It was I was right seat. I wasn't flying them by myself, but I worked for a company called Aero Air out of Hillsboro, and we did medevac. So we would fly these teams of surgeons to locations such as Alaska, Montana, in Idaho, all kinds of places to go harvest organs for transplant. So, but, I was super passionate about it. I was surprisingly good at it. But I had to I was at kind of a crossroads, because I just love racing and riding and doing the motocross thing so much. And Carson's career was starting to take off with the Red Bull stuff a little bit more. And then I had offer to go to the airlines. Like I had all my hours to go to Horizon Air. And so I was like, I can either go to Alaska, because that's where they're going to base me at, was Alaska, and do that, and then kind of leave Carson on his own to do the filming, because I film most of his videos, and I kind of help organize all of his stuff. Or I can kind of go full tilt, work at BBR Motorsports, his family company, and I mean, I still have my licenses, but I kind of made that decision because I wanted to race myself too, and I don't know, motocross to me, it's just, flying's great, but it's not dirt bikes.
Do you still fly occasionally, or is that pretty much wrapped up for the time being?
I think I got really burnt out flight instructing. I mean, it's pretty grueling. Like, imagine you're in a plane with someone who's never flown before for like 8 hours a day. It's stressful, and one wrong move and you die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that, but I mean, I'm sure I'll go back to it. It's the kind of thing that, kind of like moto, where it never leaves you truly. Just kind of have to take a step back. So I'm kind of on a break from that right now, but I'll probably go back to it. It's always something I have in my back pocket, worst case. But right now it's Moto 24.
Nice.
Jumping back into moto, thanks for jumping on here. We'll have only a few more questions for you. What's your favorite type of riding and racing, getting into stuff? Because I know Carson pretty much takes you pretty much everywhere and anywhere when it comes to motocross. Like, is there anything that really like sticks out on like, this is my ultimate favorite thing to do on a dirt bike?
Yeah, I used to be track only. Like I said, I taught myself. I didn't really know of any trails or anyone who rode trails until I met Carson. Off-road didn't come naturally to me at all. And the first few times he took me up on this, on the Ravensdale Hill, as it's known out here, where it's, real tight woods, rocks. And I cried the whole time. But like I said, I kind of learned how to suffer and learned to love to suffer. So I got better at it. And I love it all. I just truly, any riding, anywhere, any conditions, muddy, snow, sand, dry, dusty, I don't care. I'll ride anything. But track and jumps and motocross specifically always has like a place in my heart. Like it's my favorite for sure.
Well, she beat us, Grayson, because we're both fair weather rather. She don't care about the rain or mud or anything.
No. There was a time when I first started, like the first few months, but after that, I was like, no, I don't enjoy the cleaning after this.
Yeah, the cleaning's a whole nother story for sure.
Yeah.
I'm good with just cleaning the camera lens.
Yep, just dust it off real quick.
Yeah.
I got one though for you. So you said you helped Carson with the filming of like the reels and all that stuff. What is your favorite bike or like reel that you filmed for him? Because he rides some pretty outlandish stuff around that little track you guys have. So what would you say is your favorite one that he's done? like it's not just a bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know, the thing about Carson is I filmed him more times than I can count on more bikes than I can count. And when he gets on that 02 clapped out Honda CR125, magic happens. I don't know what it is. He and that bike, I don't know what it is. He surprises me every time that I film. Like, I've seen it all, and he'll go, "Oh, I'm gonna hit this transfer and then do this jump," and I kind of am like, okay, and he'll just do things on a dirt bike that I couldn't even comprehend. It's amazing. And that CR125, he loves that thing, and he rides it best, in my opinion.
Is that the one that he has down at the Day in the Dirt from last weekend?
No, so
that 250?
That's his CR250, and that thing, the CRs, like the Honda CRs, he just, I don't know, I think those are his favorites because he rides them so well.
Nice.
And then the KDX too, the KDX 220, everyone loves it when that thing comes out.
Has there ever been any close calls where you're like, he wants a certain close shot, and you're like, I don't know, and he like gets like within inches of the camera, or yourself?
Oh gosh, yes. Usually it's when he has me standing on the side of a jump or a transfer, and he's like, well, the thing is with filming, you have to film on the same side as the person's whipping because it looks better, you know, with the wheels towards you. So when that happens, it's like, how close can I get without these wheels knocking me out, you know? And sometimes I've had it where dirt and rocks get flung up, and I've been hit in the head many times by rocks.
Oh, I could relate. Do you see the dot on my head here? I think that was Terlecki yesterday.
Oh, jeez.
I got zapped by someone in the back section. Brett Barrick has a question here before we wrap up. Ask her about awesome helmets she has painted. That's something we don't know. What's the story behind that?
I guess it's my secret underground trade. I paint people's helmets. I mean, I'm amateur. I'm nowhere near. I know there's some guys up here in the Northwest like Tyler Priest that do an amazing job, and I'm nowhere near that good. But I do take on projects where guys will give me their helmets, and I paint whatever they want on them. And Dwayne, Carson's dad, and I clear coat them with automotive grade clear coat, and it's fun. I've done a lot of people's helmets, actually. I've done Luke Barrick's, I've done Chase Jackson's, Caden Aiken's, done a few girls. I did a lot of Carson's, actually. I did all of Carson's before the Red Bull helmet came along, but I would not even trust myself handling that helmet, let alone painting. But yeah, that's been fun too. That's been a fun little side hobby that I've taken interest in.
We'll have to do some Instagram stalking or digging deep to find these helmets of your paintings.
It's on the black market for sure.
Only black market. Okay, bummer. What's been the most exciting trip that you've done, like either on your own or with Carson so far in your guys' journey together?
Wow, that's a tough one. We're so lucky and blessed because we've been to more places than I'm sure a lot of people have. And I mean, it's mostly thanks to Carson. He works so hard, and he's so amazing on the bike, and he's earned all these opportunities, and I've been lucky enough to go with him.
Yeah.
I would say when we went with the team GSM, which was a French Yamaha team, to the World Supercross rounds back in late 22.
That sounds correct.
I can't remember. That was incredible. We went to France, and they were such a great team. I mean, they barely spoke English, but they took great care of Carson. We met all these French fans. I mean, Carson, legitimately, I didn't realize how big of a worldwide fan base he had till we went overseas, and people were coming up to him going, "Son of BBR." That's how it And we went to Wales for the first round of World Supercross, and it was pretty incredible. You know, my dad went because he's also from the UK, and it hit home for us when we saw a stadium full of Irish, Scottish, English, Welsh people from all over just cheering Carson on. Like, screaming his name. It was amazing. And then we went to Australia, and Carson, with the time change, the food differences, all of it, he performs very well under pressure. And that was a really fun trip. And the team took great care of him. He had great finishes. Traveling was fun. That one sticks out in my mind the most, I think.
You pretty much knocked out the other one I had. I was like, have you gone anywhere like out of the States? And that clicks that one off. I mean, you guys have done so much. It's not every day you get to hang out with Ken Roxon. I know Daniel Blair is more like available, but no, that's not a dig on Daniel. He talks to me on social media, but it's pretty sick that you guys get to do stuff with like Roxon and like all the other Red Bull athletes. Final question for me. Two questions. How many dirt bikes are now in the garage for both of you guys? And then who picks the graphic kits? Do you have any input on what the bikes look like?
Two great questions, and I hate to disappoint you, but the first answer I have is, we really don't know how many bikes we have. But to be fair, Motorsport Hillsboro does a great job, and props to them. They loan bikes out to Carson, and we kind of, he kind of rotates them out every few months. Like he'll demo bikes, and they're brave enough to let Carson ride their bike.
Well, that's what I was curious about. I'm like, do you like show up at BBR and you open a barn and there's just like 500 bikes, like just like the like Indiana Jones scene of like just like stuff going on and on. Yeah.
And then like BBR, there's a bunch of BBR bikes, Dirt Bike Magazine. So not a bunch are actually his. I mean, I've actually bought him probably 4 or 5 bikes myself.
Wish I could get that.
I know. I like say my it's kind of a tradition now. Like I've kind of set myself up for failure because every year I save up and then I find him some clapped out 2-stroke on Facebook Marketplace, and then I go surprise. Yeah, I mean, we get friends just dropping bikes off. I mean, guys will just give him the most insane, unfixable projects, and his dad, and the guys at motosport.com, they all, they help us with all the parts and stuff, and those, Carson and his dad work like 24/7 fixing these bikes up, and they make them look better than brand new. I mean, they put their own twist on them. But to the graphics question, we work with Backyard Designs. It's kind of a newer sponsor for the year. I mean, Fusion, those guys are awesome. They're local. They do a great job. Those guys work really hard, and they put together some awesome kits. But Backyard Designs, they've been really fun to work with too. We work with the guys out of Germany, and we have a guy, Philip. He's awesome, and we usually like. I'll kind of give him, like, Carson's very specific about the graphics because that's kind of, the finishing touch, and that's kind of what makes or breaks the bike build. Usually if it's a bike that I've helped buy, they'll put a little emoji of me on the bike somewhere.
I like that.
But Carson loves the OEM with a twist. But the Backyard Designs guys, they'll come up with something crazy and wild. I mean, we love the vintage look. That's always been super cool, and the retro look. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun doing all the graphics for all of them.
Sweet. Any summer plans for the rest of the year? Anything like big that's going to be going on for 2024 that you can talk about?
Yeah, some things I know. I'm not good at keeping secrets. So
that's all right. No one watches our show.
There's a lot of events that Carson will be attending that I can't talk about, but ones that you can expect to see him at for sure, like the Ayresburg Rodeo, that may be on a KDX. We haven't decided yet.
Ooh,
that should be pretty epic. And then I think Carson's going to go to Tennessee Knockout. We have the 2-stroke World Championships at Glen Helen next week, so that should be some fun. We just did another one of those era shoots that he's been doing with a really big name, and that one will be fun to watch. That's probably the most fun one we've filmed so far, and lots more of those coming up with some big names. So stay tuned for those, and then just lots of content. I'm planning to race the rest of the North Series myself. Do we'll both do some local racing, I'm sure. But yeah, summer should be jam packed.
Sweet. Grayson, I'll give you the final question here before we let Claire go, because I'm sure she's got tons of stuff to do.
Well, I always like to end it on kind of a another get to know me type of thing. What's on your Spotify on the morning you're going somewhere riding?
That's a good question.
Classic rock, rap, girls country, what?
I would say I'm a huge fan of like the 2010s kind of club music, like Flo Rida, Neo. I love some of that, but I also love like some of the harder rock, like Bring Me the Horizon, Day to Remember, those kinds of bands. And I also am secretly a huge nerd, so I love classical. I love video game soundtracks. Just a mix, I guess, to get me hyped up. I do love Bring Me the Horizon. That's probably my favorite band.
Oh man,
that's a good one.
You could make an Instagram reel. I don't know if you could talk Carson into like getting into like a Mario costume for Halloween and just have him like jump these jumps and whatnot, and just put the soundtrack of like woohoo, like
that would be hilarious.
I think that'd be something fun right there. For anyone that wants to follow your guys' adventures and whatnot, what are your socials so people can follow your guys' journeys?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much only on Instagram and kind of Facebook. I'm just Claire Brown _916. Carson Brown's the same. It's just Carson Brown 910 for every platform. Sweet. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah, pretty much everything.
Well, awesome. We appreciate you being on our show. It's been growing. A lot of people have been actually coming up to us during the race week and it's like, hey, who's going to be on next? I'm all like, well, I've got Claire Brown coming on and she's pretty epic. And eventually, I don't know if we can sweet talk Carson on getting on here at some point when he's not doing a million things, but
I'm sure we could. Thanks for having me on. I think it's so cool what you guys are doing, and I love the lightheartedness of it. And it's not, you guys aren't trash talking anyone. You're not putting anyone down.
No.
We need more of this in the industry for sure. Yeah.
Well, sweet. Thanks for coming on, Claire. Awesome. And I hope you guys have safe travels down at your guys' next event and have fun.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Have a good night. All right. Bye.
All right, that's Claire, and now Grayson's Claire. I'll put this away. We'll put this on.
Wow.
Oh, no, it's gone. Technical difficulties here. It'll come back.
There's something up there.
It was. I keep clicking the show, and it's not clicking, but whatever. Yeah, you like how I just on the fly, I'm like, I know how to go into Photoshop real quick and just
look at there, learning as you go.
Just when Claire thought she could not be seen on the screen. Hey, I at least had a helmet and goggles on, so.
No, that was a perfect shot.
No, Claire's always awesome. My thing
super chill.
Thing I always like to like tease and toad was all like, I knew Claire before Carson did. That may not be true, but she did come down to Albany quite a few times on Wednesday practices and would hang out. And another person I forgot to mention, a women rider. I haven't seen her in a little bit, but Tia Baxter. She's always been like ripping and whatnot.
I think she moved out of state, so I don't know if she's around the area anymore.
All right. Well, make sure to follow their adventures. Thanks for coming on. And yeah, I think our stuff is broken now. I broke it. Whatever.
You broke it? It looks like it says live on mine.
Okay.
There's Austin again.
Austin's back. There it is. Follow at GateJob_pro or Gravy648 on Instagram, and we'll keep making more stuff and whatnot. Yeah, thank you, Claire, for jumping on.
Yeah.
Let's get into, I know we are 44 minutes in. We always try to do 30 minutes, but here we are, and she stuck around longer too. So really,
that was cool of her.
Really cool of Claire sticking on for longer than 15 minutes there. I don't think I told her, but whatever. Jett gonna jet, bro.
Seriously though, I think this is where we start just giving him the trophy before it starts.
Well, it's 210 points to 189. If you want to do math for me, that's
what we got, 21.
No, 31. Yeah, you're
something
probably
like that.
right. I'm just an idiot.
I might be wrong. I failed math more than I can count.
We're both idiots. Let's do the math here. Are you ready? 210 minus 189 and it's 21.
21. All right, I'm out then.
Yeah, okay, later. But and Sexton's at 185. Like I said, previous weekend, the field went from like 6 competitors for the championship down to 3, and I feel like we're already getting close to just 2, but I don't know. You've thrown everything at them now. I know we were kind of like curious at the beginning of the race series with the mud races, like, oh, look, he can't do the mud. And then Birmingham happened, and we're like, oh, he can't do a Triple Crown. And then Indy happened. Then
sweeps it. Yeah,
is there a rule, Grayson, in the AMA book to start them backwards?
I think we might need to start thinking about that. I heard there was rumors of that when Carmichael and Stewart were racing. So we might have to try and implement that again because, yeah, he if he gets up front and within the first 2, he's gonna pretty much be gone. It seems like. I still think though, being the rookie, I feel like there's still gonna be a couple more pretty big mistakes that might cost him. So there's still a lot of racing, and with the weather coming in this weekend, we all know how the Northwest is for their Supercross races.
Yeah, and this is me not being a Jett like hater or anything. It's just like I want to see more challenges thrown for him. Maybe we just do arena cross style and we do the 2-row starting gates here and put him in the back row. Maybe that will help. I don't know.
Yep.
But we're getting into this era where I think it's going to be like McGrath and the Carmichael eras of it's just going to be Jett on top, and then everyone else can fight for that second position. I mean, did you notice Eli Tomac at all the whole weekend?
Not really. No.
Crickets.
Quiet. Yeah, for sure. I don't know what's going on. He showed, some flashes the last couple races of brilliance, and now it's like, where'd he go again?
I think I'm not trying to like be the Debbie Downer, but I think this is it. I lost your audio. There it is.
Did it come back? There it goes.
Yeah.
Sorry, my computer freaked out for a second.
That's all right. We're on low budget anyways.
Right. We're doing pretty good today for the most part. We started only a few minutes late, so I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, I hit record, and then it was all like recording just the both of us, and I'm all like, why is it not popping up on Facebook? And I'm like, oh, look, it's not even on the screen. But yeah, just like the live stream missing on social media, Eli was not anywhere in the top 3 in my Iron fantasy picks. Like, we don't even talk about those anymore.
I have honestly, since the last one I did so bad at the next weekend, and I completely forgot to even do it.
You just looked at it and you're like, no, I don't want to set myself up for disappointment.
No, the only one I was doing all right on was on the Vital one, because it's like more of a overall type of thing of everybody not picking positions. So picking them, I have not. I've 1 race out of 9 now that I've done okay. Yeah. I'm good without picking anymore.
So I like Eli. I do unfortunately feel like this is his final season, and I know he wants to ride off in the sunset his way, but I guess unless they can, like, I don't know, saw Jett's like legs off or something, like
I hate saying this.
That no one's beating Jett from here on out. I'm just gonna stamp it.
I think that's a pretty good take right now. I'm hoping not, as an overall race fan, but I think that's gonna happen. I don't know. I hate saying it, but I've heard on a handful of different shows and social media posts like this is a passing of the torch year where, we had like RC come in and taking out McGrath, and, trickles down from there a little bit. And like, was it McGrath and Stanton? I think that might be happening, honestly, now after we've seen the domination the last handful of weeks.
Nah, I listen to, again, I just ride Steve's coattails. At least he reads my messages on Instagram. So I got that.
Do you go in there and tell him, like, hey, I'm going to mention this on my little
I give him praises and whatnot. Like, I try to, butter him up, like, at least, like, I got a couple heart emojis from Steve, like the heart responses. And all
good.
like, there we go.
Hey, that's better than
we're working. We're working the trenches here.
That dude's busy. If you can get a like on a message, that's a win.
I know I know my two favorite people are on right now. It's obviously Steve, and then Daniel Blair is on right now, and we're just hijacking the Monday nights.
Yep. No, we're taking over eventually.
Because it's Daniel and Steve right now, and you can't beat Daniel and Steve.
No, not really.
But yeah. I don't know where I was going with this. We're just kind of at the end of the show where we just babble like idiots,
We got about 10 more minutes before we hit the hour mark and should call it. But this is
I mean, people are probably just like this. Just on some of the stuff.
Laughing at us or laughing with us. I'm not sure.
But I'm probably laughing at me. That's just how we roll.
Yep.
But I was really hoping Kenny would be able to do something there. Like, I'm working on photos,
Mm-hmm.
Like, Ken Roxon gets the start. And I start to close the laptop. And then Jett gets by. The laptop goes back up. And then he gets back close again. I'm like, laptop goes back down. That's all I was doing.
He put on a good run, though. Like, that was really awesome to see him, have that speed, especially there at the beginning. And there was the one part after the finish line in that sand corner where he wasn't tripling in the middle of the rhythm section. I don't know why he chose to do that. Maybe it was track conditions or he just didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah,
but
he was saying in post race he wasn't comfortable doing it.
Yeah,
and most of the riders were just surviving the track and not even wanting to race the thing.
Right, and I feel like that's how Jett really, I think, caught him was there. Jett would have caught him at some point no matter what, I feel. But I feel like him missing that triple really didn't help the situation.
Yeah, the loop section happened to be the most interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were jumping into it. Deegan was jumping into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Cameron just said stop jumping into the loops, and that's kind of what was killing.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, this thing. I'm dying over here.
Indigestion.
This is what happens when you hit 30, close to 30, and you start feeling the aftermath of a cheeseburger. You're heartburn.
It's a Pepsid every day now. Once you cross 30, it's a Pepsid or something like that for heartburn.
I know it's for a Klondike bar, but what would you do without Pepto-Bismol?
For real.
Jump in. I don't think is there any much more in the 450 class, or do we just keep happening? I know Webb kind of got screwed there. Wrong place, wrong time with lappers, and it's a bummer.
Right.
But
I think that's pretty much that was pretty much the entire race was Jett and Roxon performing there for a minute.
I felt like the energy and the wind just got sucked out of everything right there when Webb hit Cade and went to Indonesia off the track.
Right, yeah, no, that's rough. Maybe it was that special one-off gear he had that threw him off for the weekend. Who knows?
I don't know.
Looked like a crash test dummy, so possibly. Who knows?
I was all right with it. I did the fly racing gear that Chance Hymas was wearing. Ricky Bobby.
Oh, the Ricky Bobby, that was sick.
Apparently they're not making it. It's just a prototype thing. I'm all come on, man.
You know that would sell out.
Would order that. Luke Winkler would be all over that.
I feel like there's so many designs that they could produce that they just choose not to. That guaranteed it would sell out.
Oh, it's Ricky Bobby.
You sound like a dog with peanut butter on the roof of your mouth.
I'm here to defeat you. Why do you not like my jazz music?
the room's spinning. I won't go any further.
I will break your arm. Jumping into 250 East. I know we've lost our audience except Cameron.
We're trailing.
So.
We're trailing.
Hey, Cameron's still here. Yeah, buddy. Terrace is here. Hey-o. 250 East. Cameron Sackadoo. We have a 2-point lead now. He brought it home. Super, no McAdoo.
No real challenges. No, he
calm.
He rode a clean race. I feel like he might have gotten over this hump of having the McAdoo moments in Supercross.
Cameron Comadoo?
No, I think it's great. I love seeing those green bikes with the red plate on them. It's
both. We're back.
Mitch has got to be so happy right now. You've seen the pictures of you've seen the pictures of the champagne chugging and stuff like that. He's on cloud 9 finally after how many hard
joyful like memes in the design here. I should have put like, oh yeah,
I don't know, something.
Fail.
Next time.
I need to get my own Travis Marks or someone else to do stuff.
Somebody running the background noises and stuff.
Maybe Lauren will help. Hey, Lauren, you want to help on the podcast? Crickets. I heard no. I'm just teasing her. But yeah, Tom Fial, 2 points back. He's still in it. Okay, Pierce Brown is sitting in third with 87 points. He's only 11 down. But I swear, I never see Pierce besides that one main event. Like, he's sneaky on getting these points.
They're not really covering him on the races. I feel like he gets very little TV time right now, and it's because he's so sneaky, like you're saying. He's flying under the radar where he's, making passes without anybody even knowing that he's there, and he's doing it smart and staying consistent. Though running in that top 3 that's huge for him. I think, like, after how many rough years I feel like he's had.
Yeah, I mean, no drama, nothing there. He's just putting in the work, keeping his head down and charging. And then, of course, danger zone. He's not too far. Still, he's into it, and you never know when he's gonna go full like wombat, like he did.
Right.
So Cameron McAdoo or Tom Fial, like, watch out, because we already know that he'll put you in the cheap seats and give you, the cheap.
Did you get a chance to see his butt patch this weekend? I feel like it's more directed towards himself. It's saying feeling dangerous. So I don't know if that's for him, or everybody else needs to start worrying. It seems like he's taking himself out more now.
Well, they have a weekend off, so that will also help Cody Schock, who's absolutely freaking Iron Man. I don't know how you break your collarbone, get it plated, and come back in 7 days. I mean, I think I stubbed a toe one time, and I was like, we can't ride.
It wasn't even 7 days, was it, since the surgery? He went in on that Monday and was racing that Saturday. Like, he had 5 days.
Okay, 5, whatever.
That's even crazier if you think about it. That there's an open wound on him somewhere.
Yeah.
That's pretty gnarly.
Get me all the drugs right now. Just put it
in. Yeah, no, that was crazy. That was he's solid performance for a dude who's, on a privateer bike and coming off of a surgery. That's insane.
Okay, privateer.
Hey,
I like to argue if you have a semi, you're not privateer. Just saying. Chance Blackburn's a privateer.
That's a tough one.
He drives a van.
That's a tough one for me. I get what you're saying. They're that satellite team. They're getting some help from the factory a little more than we probably know about. But
I'm just saying.
Compared to the Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki and that Star Yamaha, they're probably a little underpowered. So it's cool to see.
Whatever. I know we're getting loose here in the final 2 minutes. Should we just rename our show like just 60 plus?
It might be a good idea.
Nah, we're already
or the two moto format. Who knows?
Oh, maybe. I could do an intro on here. It's like 2 moto format.
That's what we could do. And then
have the blonde girl walk across and then just get like nailed by like some other like Photoshop item. Just be
No, seriously.
Yeah. What about Kevin Moran's? There we go. We have fan interaction finally.
I don't even know about Kevin Moran's right now. I haven't been keeping up with that guy for a little bit.
True.
I haven't really.
You have to fill us in, Cameron. We haven't seen him much.
I feel like he used to be kind of relevant. He was getting whole shots last year and stuff like that, and you haven't really seen that happen this year for him. I used to watch the vlogs, but I kind of got bored with him after a little bit. My own ADHD, nothing on him or nothing, but that was the only way I was able to keep track of him there for a little bit.
Speaking of ADHD, I just went over to my Instagram while you were talking. I just started ignoring you, and I accidentally just did a heart emoji to some dude that was signing up for photos. So
nice. Hey, you love it. You're loving it, man.
All right. Well, I got nothing. You got any things that grinds your gears?
Honestly, today, no. Being able to get out.
The sun's made everyone happy again.
Yep. The sun's out. I got that vitamin D in. Got to be around some dirt bikes this weekend. There was really nothing that could upset me right now, at least for the next 24 hours or so, maybe.
Okay. Well, it doesn't grind my gears. I just find it comical, honestly. We talked about this last night.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when I post all photos posted, and then I get messages, hey, are all photos posted? Like, I should have queued up the Justin Timberlake stare.
Maybe, you're lying. We don't know what's going through the mind of Steven Christoph. Like, you surprise us every week. Like, where's he going to go? What's he going to do? Not really. You don't surprise us because you tell everybody exactly where you're going on your website.
What? No.
No, wait.
No.
No.
Hang on. I'm trying to look for it. Where'd I put it? There it is.
Searching.
Yeah. I'm just gonna, this will be my next watermark when you steal photos too.
You should just faintly put that on all the photos.
That was great.
That all was right. Actually, you got to get the hands coming in.
All right, well, this is off the rails. Of course, we get more viewers right at the tail end. It's like everyone knows we like save it for the last. Yep. But hey, Claire, thank you for jumping on. Yeah, sounds like we got in on Carson. The evil plan is working. No, there was no plan.
It's all coming together.
I know we can get Carson at any point, but I wanted to hear the coolness of all that Claire does and whatnot on racing and riding. Because I know many girls, like I said, Race Lee McCoy looks up to her.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's so many that come around. I mean, we had a couple. Our women's class at Albany was pretty big.
No, it was actually had a handful. It was a good turnout, and I think it's really cool now, especially with the WMX making a comeback this year. Also, like,
oh yeah,
this is awesome.
Shout out to Jaylee Gallagher. She did the JS7 Freestone race, and she was in the top 10. I think she finished in the top 10. I want to say 7th, I believe is correct. If not,
that's solid.
Go hit her up on her Instagram. Free mentions. I believe it's Jaylee Gallagher 88. And then, what to look forward this coming weekend. Obviously, OPMC Spring Minis. Dude, there's a little bit of rain in the forecast for Seattle. Are we going to have a mud race? The rain doesn't start until 4 o'clock, right at showtime.
You never know. You never know. We could wake up tomorrow morning and it might say 65 and sunny. So
yeah,
we're not really going to know until probably Friday when press day rolls around and they decide to cancel that.
Do you have any picks for the 250 or 450? I'm just going to say 450s. It's going to be Jett, Sexton, Webb. Tomac will finish outside the top 5. Bold take, hot take right there.
That is a hot one. That's very hot because I feel like I think Eli lands on a podium this weekend. Maybe like a third is what I'm thinking for him. But I don't know. I'm very, very keen on waiting to see what the track and stuff is going to be like before I make real picks. But who I would like to get some wins, obviously I want to see Roxon get up there. I'd like to see Webb get another, top 3, I think would be good. And even Chase, I want to see him pull out something good because he's been struggling, it seems like, on that new KTM. And I feel like he's almost there, but just a little bit more confidence on that bike I think would really help him. And I really would like to see Jett drop outside of the top 10 on something just for my own drama, addiction.
We can start doing dollar bets if you want to,
I can do a whole $1.
Who wins, you get $1. If you get it, I mean, if I win it all, I'm just going to make you more broke. So
that's all right. $1. I can handle $1. I can go return some cans if I have to.
I mean, you'll be hanging out at the Brocast tent. I mean, it seems fitting.
No, it'd be perfect. I feel like they need to, throw me some swag because I represent the broke ass mentality better than most people.
250s. I mean, how can you go wrong? Terrace is calling for a mud race. I think I still need to make that photo. Maybe I'll Photoshop it like next week real quick, like the Levi Kitchen show. I think Levi will be in the top 2. And it's going to be between him and Hampshire. I don't know how Smith will run.
What you need to do for this weekend, kind of a little off topic from there. I'm sure you have some of your little gate drop riders going to Supercross this weekend. You should see if they can get a 30+2 interview with Levi Kitchen and ask him a couple questions.
All right, kids, here's a recorder. I don't know what to do with it. Just hit the red button and ask the big, bold questions. Okay.
I'm sure mom and dad can handle the filming, and we can get some questions from somebody. That might be kind of cool.
I will give you $5 if you run through the Monster Energy pit and bear hug Levi. They'll never know. They'll never know. They'll be like, "Oh, it's just a super fan."
He's just excited. He's excited.
Walks out with like a jersey, the front.
Hey, it might be beneficial. He could come out with $5 from you and a jersey. Who knows?
Exactly. That's about it. You may have answered this. Are you going to Supercross? I will not. So it says deal. Kia says deal. Andre is on it.
We need video proof. Video proof.
Well, Andre is pretty cool to hang out with, so I'm pretty sure every pro is gonna be like, dude, this kid's awesome. So I mean, it might be pretty easy, honestly. Or they'll get kicked out. We'll see him on Fox 12 News. Well, we never know.
Either way, it's gonna be exciting.
I didn't mean it. I'm just super fan. I don't know why I made him French, but Here we are. But no, I'm not going to Seattle. I will be at Port Angeles, though, at OPMC for Spring Minis. We'll end it with that. We'll do our tags, and then I'll do the promo one more time. We have our Easter race. We'll have Easter egg hunting at 10 a.m. Make sure to hit up OPMC for all your fun needs. I might take a dirt bike out there and ride. I have the one.
Why not? Just bring it with you. You never know.
Yeah. Kean says, I hope I pay bail. Well, luckily, I just got paid from Instagram Reels. So
we could start up a GoFundMe if we'll
start up a GoFundMe.
People would be a part of that.
No, but for anyone that drops by the pros and whatnot, I know, well, obviously Carson won't be there because they're going to be down at that event that they were talking about earlier. But I think Ryan Brees will be there. Braden Spangle will be there. So hit up Braden and tell him that you're a huge fan and whatnot. He's got some cool fusion graphic designs. I forgot which team it is, but
the
it's
old school Mariners.
There you go. Yep.
That blue and yellow. It's pretty dope.
He's got some cool themes, and Seattle's usually super fun there.
Braden, he's always had some cool kits. A couple years ago, the Blazers kit he had up at Washougal was pretty sick that Legacy made for him. So he goes all out for these locals.
And then I think Oddman will be there as well. Ashton Oddman, if I'm correct. I know he's been an up-and-coming pro. He's on the 480 Yamaha, so he should be in the 250 class. Any other pros that you know of that are going up there? I mean, Max Miller will be there because he's part of RX Suzuki. But I know Preston gets a break. It looked like he had quite a doozy there at Indy.
Yeah, he had a good little get-off. He was, he was riding pretty well, unfortunately, and got taken out by his own bike.
When is Jurin not at a pro race?
Right, he'll be there every time.
He's there one way or another.
Yep.
All right. Well, Grayson, for people to follow you, should I just make it easy in case people don't know how to listen?
I'll say just throw it up there real quick.
That's very delayed.
I couldn't tell which direction I was going to need to go. I'm a little, when it's mirrored, it kind of throws you off a little bit.
You're like Vera from Wheel of Fortune. You don't know where you're putting your hands. You just wait for the blue to pop up so you can pretend hit it.
Felt like I was on a rocket ship. I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
All right. Well, follow at Gate Drop Pro. Yeah, do that. Or unfollow. I don't care. I need to
block him.
I need to make that 10K followers. So all the work of me saying, "Hey guys, I'm gonna be at the track." Or at least I get paid for it by Instagram.
So you can get verified and stuff too.
I want the blue check mark.
Yep. You got to know it's official.
All right, and Gravy _648. Catch you later, Grayson. Sorry we got all over the place, and we're just doing this now.
I don't know what we're yelling about!
That was the
3rd and 24th. Olympic Peninsula Motorcycle Club returns with Spring Minis
2024 all out.
Join us for one of the best races of the season with 35 classes to choose from. But wait! There's more. OPMC is bringing the big guns out with a $2,500 purse for small bike classes. The Easter Bunny is also hopping by. He's laid over 1,000 eggs to hunt Sunday morning. Who knows what else is gonna happen? All information for Spring Minis at OPMC is on Facebook and the World Wide Web. Hop on over to OPMC and race with us.